X Harper here, WWE2k19. Content community creations, new and improved just for you, the fans. So, firstly, thank you on into the real nice surprise of having over 2,000 downloads. So it means I've ranked up to, I think I'm up to silver now. So show you around all the new content that I've added, let you know some of the new content that's going to come, but won't be here just yet. And yeah, just let you look around, see what I've added, see what's in there, see what's good to go. So, first ones that I've added are the images. As you can see, the top line are all the images that I added before. So let's go straight into the new stuff. You've got Extreme Mania, which is a logo that I created myself for it's like my WrestleMania for ECW. I'm pretty sure the name is a bit self-explanatory. So I use that in my universe mode. For Brawl, I used, as you can see, there's a green one up here. In my arena for Fall Brawl 1997, I actually used the purple Fall Brawl War Games logo, but I gave you the green one as a bit of a bonus here. And as you can see, it's one of the more popular logos that I've got so far. So I've added the purple one as well, so if you want that on its own without the arena, then you can do that now. The next one is an interesting one. I actually saw this logo as I was creating an arena, which I've now released. I think it's barely legal. In the background, I saw this logo and I was like, that's really cool. I want to include that in the game. How can I do it? So I just created this myself, found all the logos, fonts, blah, 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 put it all together, and here you go. You've got this ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling old school retro logo. So that one seems to be quite popular considering I only uploaded it about 5 to 10 minutes ago. Starcade. So you can see top left, I've got Starcade 97. I didn't really want to keep 97 on the logo, but I had to do it for my Starcade 97 arena. So what I did, I also prepared some of my older logos that I released last year that were popular, which I'm releasing is gold. There will be a silver, there will be bronze, there will be a blue option. Logo that I actually released late last year, but seemed to be really popular, it surprised me, was my Capital Punishment logo. Now, I've completely changed the logo. I went back to square one and actually went in and redesigned the logo. Last year I just threw over a bit of a cheap ECW logo that I found on the internet, and it didn't come out great. It was red, so it looked nice, but it was still overlaying the WE logo behind it. So what I've done now is erase that by creating a new border that you can see around the ECW logo. I've made the ECW logo white, and I've extended the line above Capital Punishment just to center the logo for you. So that's there for you. I use it on my universe mode as one of my pay-per-views. It's actually one of my favorite ones that I've crossed over from a WWE event to an ECW branded event. And as you can see, that's had a download. Nice. So let's go into arenas now. This tops up all of the arenas that I've currently got. You can see 7, which I mentioned earlier, World War III 97, Fall Brawl 97, the Great American Bash 97, Slamboree 97. That was my WCW 1997 pack, or at least the first 5, because now I've released 2 more. One of them's from 96 actually, and then the second one is 97. So Bash at the Beach. Obviously, we all know why this one's significant. If you're a WCW fan, this was where Hulk Hogan turned heel for the first time, or for the most significant time in his career, because he did it before, but this one was definitely the most significant heel turn that we'd seen in a very long time. So I always create 96 because it's just in memory and remembrance of that. Hopefully next year we're going to get Hogan as sort of the legend of the game. I imagine he's basically going to be the special edition, and then I'm hoping that the NWO will be in there with like the Bash of the Beach 96 arena, maybe throw in a couple of other special arenas. Maybe even my Starcade 97 arena will disappear from Community Creations because they'll add it ready for him versus Sting. But for now, this is what you've got. Secondly, we've got Road Wild. This is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. mainly because it's an outdoor arena. It's set in the evening. It looks really beautiful, and that was exactly the sort of time of day that Road Wild was actually filmed, so it looks really good. I've got like dirty sand, sort of dusty gravel for the entranceway. It all looks really cool. It's way better than the one I created last year. I had a look on the network to try and match it up, and I think I've done a pretty good job, apart from, you know, certain elements that you just can't help or change, like the huge curtain that's appeared behind all the Titantrons. But it looks great, so download that one. The next two, now I wanted to do ECW content. There's a guy who I don't know his name. If he is watching this, he will probably be very angry with what I'm about to say, because I just don't remember him. But anyway, I love his content. He's really inspired me with his ECW renders. I love the quality of the imagery that he manages to put on. I do not like people who put a Titantron and then put a huge image on the Titantron to make it look like an entrance. It very rarely works, but this guy does it really well. He's the best at it. I just do not know his name. I should have researched, should have thought back. I don't even care. I apologize to him, but he's the inspiration for why I've started doing some ECW arenas. So again, I went onto the network, had a look, and I've matched it up as close as I can. If I'm honest, my actual ring, my ring for all of my ECW ones are almost a dead perfect match. It's always the entrances that are going to be slightly off. I've got the logos in there that I've created myself. I found the font for November to Remember. That took me a good 2 hours of searching online to find that font, but I got it. That's on there with the right color scheme, so everything's in for that. That one seems to be an early runner of popularity, and obviously the next one as well, ECW Hardcore. Similar thing. Actually, when I was doing the video for this, I went out and changed the font that I had on the ring apron because it wasn't right. It didn't match the actual arena. I went back, now it does match. So it's as accurate as it possibly could be to the arena itself. One thing that the guy does, and this is why you'll be angry at me, the one thing he does that I don't agree with, he likes to show off by adding this high-res image of the ring mats around the ring. And it looks really cool because it looks like the ring mats have sort of been thrown together on the floor. There's rubbish on the floor, or garbage if you're American. And it looks really cool. There's a few signs that have been dropped, and it looks really high res, which is great. But it's not authentic to the actual arena itself. It's not what was on the floor. They had these really weirdly tanned ring mats for Hardcore Heaven and for November to Remember. I don't know why, but that's what they had. And this arena, I noticed they actually had black tape on to cover up a lot of the wires that went to and from the ring. So what I did was used a different mat system on Hardcore Heaven than I did on November to Remember. The other thing is on the entrance, again, it's not accurate because the entrance wasn't at that side of this arena. It was actually on the side opposite the camera. So where you can see the Hardcore Heaven logo on the left hand side, the camera would be on that side of the ring. So the entrance was actually on the other side of the ring. Unfortunately, you can't change entrance positions on WE games. Maybe that's something they'll add in future iterations. And it's also one of those arenas that comes out from nowhere, almost a little bit like Madison Square Garden, where it comes out of those massive gaps where, I guess, in ice hockey or whatever sport, that's where the players will then enter. So without them adding an arena that has that ability, unfortunately, we have to just make do and try what we can. The curtains are the same ugly ass colour that they were at Hardcore Heaven, but that's as good as I can do for that entrance. Finally, for the arenas, I've got SummerSlam 95. If Road Wild is my favourite, then SummerSlam 95 is a close runner-up. This is one where you see, this is the one where I mentioned earlier, I hate when people do the whole big Titantron, add the PNG. You see, the only way it works when you do a PNG for me is when you actually add it to a current entrance way. So what I did, I found one of the smaller little entrances on the game that's a preset that anybody can use. And then what I did, instead of dropping just the logo, I created the whole entrance doorway, which you can see on the right hand side. It's got like the gradient from yellow to red. It's got the SummerSlam 95 logo above it. And I created that, but I actually put it into the entranceway. And what I noticed was it just came out really cool, because it actually looks like the entrance. Rather than have this massive Titantron, this actually looks more like the SummerSlam 95 entranceway, which I'm really pleased with. And I hope you enjoy that one. I'm hoping that'll get loads of downloads, because it is one of probably the most authentic one, because it was the easiest to recreate. So enjoy that. Somebody's enjoyed it already because they've downloaded. Now let's go to the next. Whoops. I want to go back into uploads. This is only going to update if I've had more uploads. Awesome. Okay, so my internet's pretty bad at the moment. Probably because it's the weekend. Championships. Okay, championships is real simple. I need to just explain why I've duplicated so many titles. I'm not doing it because I'm trying to get the downloads. I promise there is a reason for it, and I use it on my universe mode all the time. So, I don't like the fact that in universe mode, in fact, I don't like the fact on the belts that they always use the date after the name. I hate that they put WCW World Heavyweight Title 1993. Like, just put WCW World Heavyweight Title. That's all you need to do. It looks different. It's not the same as the others, but it is the same belt. Anyway, what I do is I like to change mine. I shorten them to title rather than championship or heavyweight. And what I do, I use, for example, the WCW title, I use as like, who is my flagship? Who is the flag bearer of WCW? And they get to fight for the title. So usually for me, Sting, Kevin Nash, Hogan, or DDP, somebody will fight for it. And it's basically a filler title that I use while somebody else or another rivalry is taking place in universe mode for the main heavyweight title. So it's a really great segue into just giving somebody a belt. It's not a useless title. For example, what I do with the WWE title, I give it Stone Cold. He usually runs with it, has a feud with McMahon, and then every now and then either The Rock or Triple H will drop in and try and fight for the title, and usually will win it for a while and then let it go back to Stone Cold. Because he's the flag bearer of the company, he's the main man, but he's not the guy that I always want to have the actual title. The WE heavyweight title that I use. So my heavyweight title will be with whoever else, blah blah. Same with ECW. CM Punk usually wins that one. He's like the flag bearer for me, or would be for it if the company still existed. And then finally the cruiserweights. This is really simple, and you should download these for this very simple fact. WE have done it again. They've messed up the cruiserweight weight categories. Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, people like this who were blatantly cruiserweights and won the cruiserweight titles and didn't put much weight on when they went on to win their heavyweight titles, are not included in the cruiserweight category, so they can't win the cruiserweight titles that are on the game. The biggest irony of that is the fact that they've put the WCW World Wrestling Champion Cruiserweight title on there, and yet all the guys who won it can't win it again because they're too heavy now. So what I've done is I've simply taken out the cruiserweight category, I've duplicated the titles, and so what you've got is the WCW cruiserweight title, the WCW cruiserweight title, and WE, sorry. You've got both titles there. They're open for all weights, so it means you can win them with whoever you want. Okay. Money in the Bank. Now, I've only added one, and I'm going to be real quick. I didn't want to delete the WCW Money in the Bank one because it's had 22 downloads. I know you can delete it and keep the downloads, but I'm just like, I've got the pride that that's done well. It was my first creation, did it real quick at the beginning of the game. But what I've done since then is I've replaced all of the other titles with this beautiful little... Oh, I mean, I say beautiful, but that's me, you know. I think it's beautiful. It's just got... My internet's slow, so we're just waiting for this to catch up. But I've just added like a little Money in the Bank logo to the top corner of each briefcase just to make it even more obvious, if it wasn't obvious enough as it was, just to make it more obvious that this is the Money in the Bank briefcase. And so I use those. Some of them I use on my universe mode. I don't use the universal one. I might do. That may become the one Money in the Bank that I use across my whole universe mode. But I've also got an ECW, I've got a WE one and a WCW one. I like to keep these minimalistic. I don't think that there's any point in adding loads of stuff to them because they just clutter very quickly. And to be honest, they don't look very realistic. So onto the shows now. Shows are obviously similar. I've just mimicked all of the shows, all of the arenas that I've got. I've just added the shows to the community creations as well for you. I'm not going to go too much into that. The only thing I will explain is that the logos here are different because these were the logos used on the posters for ECW. I'm not sure about the Bash at the Box, but I can definitely confirm that these two were the official logos used in ECW on posters at the time. So they don't look the same as the logos you'll see in the arena or the ring logos, the apron logos, anything like that. But they are the official ones. I found the fonts for them and I've recreated them, so you've got them there. Finally, before I go, movesets. Okay. Oh, awesome. I've actually had a moveset download. These have not done well so far, I'll be very honest. Don't know why, because these are the most authentic movesets you're going to find anywhere. I promise you that. I have scoured the internet for hours looking for each of these guys' moves. Literally search YouTube for the top 100 moves for every one of them. And I went through and just picked the ones that look the best, but also match the character in the time frame that I'm in the context that I'm using them within my universe mode. And so then I go and put all of their moves on. Scott Hall is a big one. He's one that you should all download, because what I've done, and this is annoying, WE for some reason think that the chokeslam was his signature maneuver. It was not his signature maneuver. We all know that the fall away slam was. So I've gone and switched the fall away slam to his signature in this move set, which is why it's the best one of all of them to get. If you're going to download any of them, that should always be the first one. Sting's is one of my favorite. It's a great move set. It's an authentic move set. He used to have, and still probably would have if he was back, hint hint, one of the best movesets in wrestling history. I love it. It's durable, flexible, agile, but it's also powerful as well. It's just a great variety of technique and power moves. The Rock's is in there. I've updated 3 or 4 of his moves. Shawn Michaels, he's had a massive overhaul, changed a load of his moves to make it more authentic. Bret Hart has got a great move set on the game as well, and is definitely, when I play with Bret Hart in the game, it is him and Sting. It freaks me out how close it is to their real life characters. I actually play the game more with these two characters because their movesets are so genuine. The same with Ric Flair. I've made a great moveset for him, and he's just got this real technical based moveset, but one that focuses on injuring the opponent's legs, and that just makes it so much more realistic for the build-up of the finisher with the figure 4 leg lock. Goldberg, to be honest, I've added power moves, but they are authentic power moves that he used, but it's very power driven, which should be accurate for Goldberg anyway. Austin's got a few changes. I've noticed that his little he used to flip the bird and do the elbow drop off the rope. They've changed that now on the game. They've added it to like the standard moves, and I'm not that happy about it. And I actually sacrificed that move, believe it or not, for the sort of mount and pound kind of move set that he has to a grounded opponent. So I'm not happily about that one, but that's just the way it is. Kevin Nash, again, he has a terrible moveset on this game. It's so limited, it's slow and lethargic, there's no technique to any of it. Even though Nash did know moves, he actually could wrestle. So I've added a few good wrestling moves that I think are worth Kevin Nash's time. Suplexes, things like that, just standard ones, but they actually make fighting with Nash a lot more authentic. Finally, DDP. He was one of the easiest to do because I found all of his moves in one video on the internet, and it was like, this is awesome. He's got a great move set, and as you can see, somebody has looked at it and downloaded it. I'll even show you, I should have showed you the previews of all of these, but so you can pause it at your own rate. So let's just go through quick, and I'll just do this. Just hit the pause button, have a look at the move sets, and then decide for yourself which ones look good. Like I said, you can find me at X Harper if you want to search for me. If you obviously find one piece of my content, the best thing that you can do is just go to all of there's an option to view all my content that I've created, and then you can just quickly and easily download everything that you want that I've created that you like. So there are all the previews. I hope they weren't too quick so that you can actually pause it. But that's it for today. That is all of the creations so far. I am going to be doing some more. As you can see, I've got no space in a couple, but Money in the Bank, I might just create some more fun ones just to see what I can create. Championships are filled for the time being. Arenas are going to be filled all the way through. I have no space for those from what I've predetermined I'm going to upload. So if you want any that you think would be good, I would and am willing to change my mind. So if you do have some that you would love to see me create, please let me know. You can do that either here, you can do that on Twitter at xharperco, or you can do it on Instagram at xharper.co. Images, I've got loads more sort of special ones, unique ones that I use for my universe mode to come. I've got some more ECW ones that I've created, some cross WE ECW branded ones, blah blah blah. Another thing I'm going to note looking at these logos, do not be fooled by the fact that the S on Capital Punishment looks blue, because when you go into it you can clearly see that it's a high res file. I promise you these are all high res. Don't be put off by the poor thumbnail quality. It's a shame, I can't help it. Superstars, I've got a couple of guys that are up to no good, making some trouble in my neighborhood, but I'm gonna probably upload a couple more that I've had to think about in the last sort of 24 hours. So just keep an eye out and it will keep uploading, and every time that I up rank I'm going to be adding loads new content. I'll be doing videos all the time to help you understand why and what I'm doing. So until then, until next time, enjoy the game, enjoy community creations, and hopefully you'll be enjoying my content as well. I'm X Harper, thank you so much. Whoop whoop!